Alright, sekejap wait Okay. Alright, so this is how to construct electrical circuit. Okay, so tell me the bulb is bright or dim?
Right.
Okay, good, bright. Alright, so this one kan you only set up using two dry cell and one bulb. So the result is the bulb produce bright light. Okay. Now let's see what happen. What happen if we add another one bulb? Okay. So this is like when you do experiment kan. If you still remember about scientific skills. Okay. Right now you are making hypothesis. Okay. Let's see what happen. The hypothesis is try to predict what will happen. What will happen if I put another bulb? What will happen to the light? Bright or dim?
Dim.
Dim. Okay, so when you make a hypothesis, that hypothesis need to be tested. Tested by what? Carry out experiment. So how to carry out experiment? That's what I do now. We set up electrical circuit and conduct experiment. Isyirah. Siapa Isyirah tu? Oh, P1 have ada Isyirah P1 pula dah P5, sorry. Okay, let's do the experiment. I lah yang do the experiment, not you Okay, you just see the result.
Alah.
That's why lah, come back to school. Come back to school and let's do experiment.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Siapa tu? Zulaika?
Apa sih? Zulaika.
Hai, Jaden.
Tu Mikael je.
Tu Mikael, okay. I thought Jaden. Oh, siapa tu? Ada Irfan ke? Mana your face? I cannot see your face pun. Kan on lah your video. Ni kan Zulaika
Ni muka saya.
Hey Mikael. Assalamualaikum Mikael.
Dia bawa habis main ML tu je.
Okay.
Mana dia?
Jangan bergaduh.
Jealous.
Jangan bergaduh lah. Kau orang ni suka sangat bergaduh lah.
Jangan gaduh.
Jangan bergaduh.
Cari
Okay.
pasal.
Where is Fayyad?
Ya, kenapa?
Lalu bukan Fayyad join us.
Dia main piano tu.
Siapa play piano kat tu?
Supaya main gitar entah.
Benda kau buat.
Sorry. Itu gitar lah, bukan piano lah kau ni.
Tahulah. Ada orang panggil gitar ni yang jealous ni. Nampak. Mata dia.
Mana ada jealous?
Arifan, Naura suruh kau mute.
Where is Arif Hakim? Where is Arif Hakimi and Fayyad? Let's see.
Hebat Fayad.
Oh.
Banyak pasangan lagi cepat lah.
Sekejap.
Ada Fayyad ke? Mana ada Fayyad? Oh ada Fayyad.
Ya.
Buka kamera.
Enough!
Fayat. Buka kamera.
Kejap Kejap. Ini tengah I'm in the middle of setup for electrical circuit. Wait Salah ni. Wow. For the 9% today. So for those who just join us today, we'll continue on brightness of the bulb. What will happen if you are using 2 dry cell with additional one bulb? What will happen to the light? Whether it's bright, still bright, or dim. It becomes dim. Okay. Where to put this one? Alright. Guys, you already take your activity book or not?
No.
Don't forget, tomorrow is your turn for P5 to take your activity book. For those who still not take lah.
Saya dah ambil dah Nat. Tengok, saya dah ambil dah.
The rest? Mikael dah ambil. The rest how about you? You dah ambil belum?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Adam, aku challenge kau buat beatbox.
Hey. Now tengah belajar
Tengah belajar lah.
Okay. Later you nak play beatbox ke after science class Tengah belajar ni belajar. Teacher record ni, I record. Later your father, your mother see tak belajar. Face you guys. Okay. So this is can you see? Allahu Akbar, jatuh.
Yes.
Sorry lah, I should put on tray but I don't bring tray lah pula. I put in car, inside my car. Okay, this one. You have 2 bulb here, 2 bulb. Okay, let's see what happened. 2 bulb. Dim or bright?
Dim.
The bulb, can you see
Dim.
Dim kan?
Yeah.
Not brighter like previous bulb. Okay, why? Why suddenly it becomes dim? Why?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Fayat, stop playing Fayat. Akil said it use more electric. It use more electric or it share the same sources of electric? Which one do you think?
Share.
Yes, very good Mikael, because it share. Both bulb share the same electrical sources. Kan I mentioned to you only use 2 dry cell. Kan? I only use 2 dry cell. So 2 dry cell, it have 2 bulb together with 2 bulb. So that's why we switch on the switch to it become dim. But if only 1 bulb doesn't matter lah. Don't move 1 bulb, the light produce brighter light. Okay.
KSMR kan.
Now, this one is only 1 bulb, 2 dry cell. Alright. So, what is your conclusion from this experiment? You dah test dah your punya hypothesis kan? You said tadi your hypothesis, the bulb produce dim light. The bulb produce dim light. That is your hypothesis. So you dah tested. So the result, the outcome, the bulb produce dim light. So correct lah your hypothesis. So apa you punya conclusion? You dah ada hypothesis. So apa conclusion dia? Apa you can conclude? Apa you can conclude from this experiment? Apa yang
Saya
boleh?
tidak tahu.
Apa you boleh conclude? You copy je lah from apa you punya, you kena relate lah dengan your hypothesis. P5 already ni but still tak tahu macam mana nak buat, tak tahu macam mana nak relate ni. Relate hypothesis and conclusion. Okay, first, wait. What is constant variable? From this experiment, what is constant variable? What is constant variable? Maksud dia apa? What is the meaning of constant? Okay? Same. A variable that same. That same
forgot.
throughout the investigation. Okay, the same variable. The same thing yang you use throughout the investigation. Okay, what is the manipulated variable? Apa maksud dia? Meaning of manipulated variable.
What the thing we control? The things we control.
Okay, things you control. Good. And what is responding variable?
Responding.
Responding variable apa? Apa kelas? Responding variable. Come on. What is responding variable? Boys, what is responding variable? Fayad. I want Fayad to ask, to answer. Fayad. Fayad. Yes, the result. Yes. Actually, responding variable tu a variable that is observed. Apa yang you nampak, observe throughout the investigation. So tell teacher, what is constant variable yang you can observe from experiment I set up just now?
The bulb.
The bulb. Okay, what do you mean by the bulb? Not cannot only use bulb. Dia kena ada something yang you can measure.
The number.
Good. The number of bulb. Okay, Fayad. Okay, bolehlah dimaafkan. Mic saya kadang-kadang rosak. Okay, make sure you listen to me Fayad. Okay. So, number of bulbs. Okay. We use 2 bulbs kan? Ada 1 bulb, ada 2 bulbs. Okay. So, are you sure number of bulb? I see manipulated ke constant? I see constant kan? Are you sure? Are you sure number of bulb tu constant? Number of bulb constant ke sekarang just now? Bukan kita ubah ke number of bulb tu? Ini yang sama. Constant, the same from I start experiment until the end. What is the constant thing yang I control? Insyirah, what is constant variable? Apa yang sama? Oh, come on, primary 5. You want me to show you again the component? Okay, see tengok balik ni. Inside. Okay. So this is your dry cell, swish and bulb. So which component do you think yang I keep constant until the end of the experiment? Yes, Ira, Naura. Number of dry cell. Number of dry cell, I use the same number which is 2 only. Okay, the manipulated variable is?
What is the racket?
Dry cell.
Dry cell.
Battery. Dry cell. By this battery we call dry cell. This is this one. This is dry cell. Okay, so what is manipulated? Amboi, sedap ni Faya, your kurus.
Bulb.
I want some.
Bulb.
Okay, yeah. Kurus ke papaya? Nak kurus papaya. Okay. So, manipulated is number of bulb. You need to add something in front. Cannot mention only bulb. Because how to measure bulb? But you can measure number of bulb. Because you have, at first we use 1 bulb and it produce brighter light. When we change to 2 bulbs, it becomes dim light. It produces dim light. Okay. Alright. So, bulb, number of bulb. Okay, so what is responding variable? What is responding variable? Apa yang you observe at the end of the experiment? Apa Faya? If you cannot talk, then you write ni. You write at your chat box. What you observe at the end of the experiment? Apa? Apa dia tadi? Why? Okay, why we set up this experiment? Nak buat apa? I know lah responding to the response. I know lah the response, tapi apa yang what you observe? What can you observe at the end of the experiment? Awak tengok apa? Tengok apa kelas? Oh, you guys ni kena bagi eksperimen punya exercise lah. Banyak kena bagi eksperimen punya exercise ni. Oh no, okay, you're not answering my question. My question is responding variable. What is responding variable in experiment yang I set up ni? What can you observe at the end of the experiment? Why we set up this experiment? To what? To see what? To observe what?
To see the light open.
Yes, Mikael. Okay, I change. Betul. Yeah. So I change a little bit Mikael's punya word tu. To observe brightness of the light. Mikael cakap tadi nak see the light tu kan, light up tu. So we want to see the brightness of the bulb tu. That is one yang kita observe. Itulah yang responding variable dia. Okay. We want to see if we use 2 dry cell, 1 bulb, it produce brighter light. But if you use we use 2 bulb with additional 1, it means that 2 bulbs, 2 dry cell, 2 bulbs. So the result is dim light. So the inference sebab why dim light? Because tadi siapa sebut kat teacher? It share the same sources of electrical energy. It share. Macam you jugalah. Kalau you have 1 biscuit, then you need to share with 2 person. You rasa you kenyang ke tak? Tak kenyang kan? Rasa tak cukup kan? So the same thing lah for this experiment. 2 dry cell used by 2 bulbs kan, masing-masing they need energy, so they share the same thing, the same sources, so the result is dim light. Aduh, Harif Hakimi ni dah halfway dah. Assalamualaikum Harif Hakimi. Wey. So each bulb gets 1 dry cell. Okay, so actually this experiment kan, yang electrical circuit yang teacher set up ni, this is what we call as a series circuit. Because they share the same electrical sources. So this one is series electrical circuit. Series electrical circuit tu later I will explain more. What is the difference between series and parallel electrical circuit? So Arif Hakimi, today we learn about brightness of the bulb. So I set up experiment just now. Using 2 dry cells. 2 dry cells.
Dry cells tu
yang bateri tu, dry cell. So I use 2 dry cell and 1 bulb. It produce. I think I need to show again lah tu Arif ni. Dia masuk halfway. Okay, hai Arif.
Baru saya tahu dry cell apa.
Baru tahu dry cell tu apa. Si bahaya masuk kelas. Sorry, this is the result of using 2 dry cell with 1 bulb. Arif Hakimi, tengok ni.
Oi, brightness.
Bright kan? Brightness tu kecerahan dia. Ni bright, produce light, bright light. Okay. So if you are using 2 bulb, nampak tak Arif? Can you see? Nampak? Bright light kan? Bright, this bulb produce brighter light lah. Bright light. So I change if using 2 bulb. What will happen if 2 bulb?
Arif, baru masuk ke Arif?
Baru masuk lah tu.
Ya. Hai, tak habis-habis lah je ni. Kau kata kau guna grinder dapat savage? Ya ke?
Arif. So tengok ni, observe carefully. So different tak light dia?
Different.
So this one dim or bright?
Bright.
Bright tu cerah. This is dim or bright?
Teacher, tengok yang sebelah punya tu.
Ni.
Yang tu bright lah. Yang sebelah tu bright lah.
Dia tak bright sangat. Like previously kan lagi bright. So this one dim. Ni this one Allah hilang dah. This is dim. Okay. Sebab apa Arif? Sebab they share the same sources of energy. Only 2 bulb need to supply sources of electrical energy to 2 bulbs. 2 dry cell to 2 bulbs. So jadilah light dia tu dim, not bright like previous. Okay, so class 5 more minutes. So what have you learned today? Tell me. What have you learned? What have you learned to this lesson? Fayyad, what have you learned to this lesson? Fayyad.
Ya.
What have you learned to this lesson? From today's lesson? Belajar apa today?
Belajar pasal bulb.
Okay, I know.
Sources of energy, battery, dry cell.
Okay, so the keyword is brightness, Fayyad. Brightness of the bulb.
Brightness.
Okay. Siapa lagi kita tanya? Hadif. Oh, Hadif.
Ya.
Hadif.
Tak habis lah buat emoji.
Okay. One dry cell. If we use 2 dry cell, connect to 1 bulb, the bulb will produce brighter light or dim light.
Brighter.
Good. So Arif Adam Irfan. What if I add on 1 more bulb, it becomes 2. So dry cell still same. So the light dim or bright?
Dim.
Dim. Apa Arif? I cannot hear lah. Arif punya Adri pula dah Adam. Dim.
Tak dengar.
Ya Allah. Okay, again. I use 2 dry cell. Connect to another 1 bulb. It means 2 bulb lah. So these 2 bulb will produce a bright light or dim light. Kemana dia merewang tadi tu? Bright ke dim?
Dim.
Dim. Dim tu maksud dia malap. Bright tu maksud dia cerah. Okay, in bahasa. So, dah. Today you learn about the brightness. We touch a little bit about the science process skills yang you guys kena tahu. The manipulator. Okay, again. Nak tanya soalan dekat Naura. Naura, I know Naura know the answer. Constant variable. What is constant variable?
The same thing we control.
Okay, so the same thing, what are the same thing yang we control throughout this experiment yang teacher set up?
The dry cell.
Okay, number of dry cell. Cannot just mention dry cell number of dry cell. We need something to measure. Okay, Mikael, So what is manipulated variable yang we change?
Yang tadi saya cakap tu kan.
Apa dia? Itu tak, itu bukan, itu responding. Manipulated. Manipulated tu apa benda yang teacher change throughout this experiment?
Dia change lampu.
Yes, lampu. Lampu is you kena say something lah. You kena say number of bulb. You tak boleh cakap lampu je. We want to measure apa? Measure number of bulb. Okay, Wafa. Oh, Wafa. So what is responding variable in this experiment? Yang what can you observe at the end of the experiment? I show to you what?
Number of the apa tu nama dia?
Number of bulb is manipulated. What can you, apa yang awak nampak tadi?
Dry cell.
Dry cell is constant. Apa yang awak nampak? Apa yang tadi teacher sambung then produce what?
Light.
Yes, the brightness of the light. Itu dia punya responding variable. Okay, so kalau an inference pula, the reason why two bulbs produce dim light because it share the same electrical sources. So anything to ask? 1 more minute.
Dah.
Nothing to ask. Okay. After this, go to Seesaw. I already assigned homework to do at Seesaw. Please complete. Ni, this 9 person ni make sure to complete homework dekat Seesaw tu. I check
Okay.
okay. Alright, so that's all for live streaming class.
Ni kan.
Nothing to ask kan?
Ada.
If nothing to ask, so that's all
Nothing,
for our
nothing.
lesson today. So go to Seesaw, complete your activity. Check activity I already assigned activity, okay?
Bye.
Thank you for joining me. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Teacher.
Bye. Bye bye.
Apa?
Kain jahat kau. Mana Kain?
Hey, go to Seesaw. Go to Seesaw now.
Jap.
Do activity. Go to Seesaw now.
Jap.
Go to Seesaw now. Teacher tunggu Fayat punya ni.
Hah?
Kita tunggu Fayat start kerja.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Go to Seesaw now.
Okay. So, saya dengan kita stand.
Bye.
Bye.
Arif. Bye.